Hey guys, welcome back. It is a big game this weekend. The second one for the weekend is the Wallabies versus the Springboks. I'm so happy about this one because it is two old foes playing against each other again. We haven't seen it in quite a while. I think the last time they played against each other is back in 2019. So it's been a long time. So it is time to settle things again. Who is the better side between the two? Time for the Springboks to face more Southern Hemisphere rivals again. So if you do look at the two sides, there is a couple of changes, especially in the front row for the Springboks. You see probably the preferred front row of late for the Springboks coming in. Steven Kotsoff, Bongi Mbunambi, and then Frans Malherbe coming in. That is a very strong front row. That is a front row that's been playing together for so many years at the Stormers. Bongi, yes, he's going to the Sharks now, and they've also played with each other at the Springboks as well for years. Very powerful scrum. They are just so good at demolishing the other team. The Wallabies, strangely enough, also making a change to their front row. I didn't think Slipper did too badly at number one. They do bring the youngster Angus Ballard in at number one. It's not a preferred game for him to play up against Malherbe, but I have to say Bell has had a good season so far. He is good for the Wallabies as well. So we'll see how he joins the two Brumby players in Fainga and Alan Alaalatoa. Alan Alaalatoa, he's playing his 50th game. Big game for him up here. But if you do talk about 50 caps, the Springboks, there's three players in their front pack that does not have 50 caps. All of them have a lot of caps. It's Bongi Mbunambi, Frans Malherbe, and then Franco Mostert. All of them have more than 40 caps though. So very experienced side. If you do look at the starting 15s for both teams, the Wallabies 418 caps versus the Springboks is staggering 680 caps in that starting 15. So there's a lot more experience in that Springboks team. In the second row, which is always important at the Springboks, they do like dominating the line out time. The Wallabies, they build a lot of their game plan around the line out time as well. Evan Etzebeth, he's back for the team as well. In the current team, he is the most capped player with his 91st cap he's playing this weekend, joining Lotte Jager. So that's a very settled combo. They've played so many games together. Such a strong combination. Number 4, Rodai, he comes in for the Wallabies. He just came back for the first game in a couple of years last week from the bench. He's already back in the starting team, joining Matt Phillip. We'll see how they go against a very strong lock combination of the Springboks. Then we get to the loose forwards. Siya Kolisi is at number 6, captaining the side this week around. Franco Mostert at number 7. He's been the engine of the team, making the most tackles for the team every single week. He's just replaced Pieter-Steph du Toit, who is a big guy we're missing currently from the Springbok team. He's replaced him at number 7, and he's doing quite a good job. He's probably not Pieter-Steph du Toit, but he is at a very good level, and he is a third second row option for the Springboks. Duane Vermeulen, he's back from his injury, and that's a very big inclusion from the Springboks. That's a very feared guy to have on the park as well. We'll see how he comes back from his injury, if he's going to just start at that high level we expect from Duane, or is it going to take him a couple of games. For the Wallabies, I haven't been too impressed with their loose forward combination with Swinton and Valentini. They haven't been that impressive for the Wallabies so far. I think there should maybe be a little bit of a switch up and a change, but I'm not sure who would you really put into that team to get the best out of that combination. You can't fault Hooper though at number 7, just so good for the team. He is going to equal the most capped Wallaby captain, George Gregan, this week around. He's going to also play another game as the captain for the side. He is such a good player, and you have to always watch him. Just so good at breakdown time, such a good tackler as well, and he just puts his body on the line every single week. But there's a couple of guys like Duane Vermeulen and Mostert doing the same thing for the Springboks. Then Faf de Klerk, he's back from his injury as well for the Springboks. So that's two guys back from their injury. Faf de Klerk versus Tate McDermott. It's two completely different number 9s. Faf de Klerk, you know him for his box kicks. That is what he is so known for. And he's such an intricate part of the Springboks' game plan for getting the ball in the right spaces. If you get it into the right spaces and make the opposition make mistakes, especially this Wallaby team that likes attacking with the ball, mistakes might happen. the Springboks usually capitalize from that. Tate McDermott, he likes taking on the line himself, and if he does, he usually actually beats the players in front of him. He's a very dangerous player. I can't wait to see how he joins up with Quade Cooper, who is going to play his first test since 2017. Just such a dangerous player on the park, Quade Cooper. He can step anyone in front of him. There's that dangerous passes he also throws. Hopefully for the Wallabies, there's just not another interception in this game, because they've thrown so many interceptions, and there is a couple of dangerous guys that can also intercept from the Springbok team in this game as well. Quade Cooper, he is up against Handré Pollard, who's also in good form. Probably not in the best form from the kicking tee, actually. Handré Pollard hasn't went through a lot of phases of not kicking well from the tee in his career. He's going through one of that now. At number 12, it's a big mouth-watering affair when Damien de Allende goes up against Karevi. It's always a big battle between these two guys. It is big barnstorming runners going up against each other. They love playing the same type of game. Both of them are quite quick as well. Both of them like making gaps for guys outside of them in one way, and that is running over guys in front of them. Lukhanyo Amu, who's been brilliant this year, probably the 13 in the world, the best 13 in the world at the moment. That's from a South African's perspective. You can maybe let me know. Ikitau at number 13, I think he's struggling at the moment for the Wallabies. I don't know who could maybe do a better job there. Sbu Nkosi, he comes in at number 14. Unfortunately for the Springboks, Cheslin Colby is injured, but Sbu Nkosi is a very dangerous Springbok speedster. He's also the fastest winger the Springboks do have. He's very powerful as well as a runner. I've always said maybe he should make the shift to number 13. So I'm excited to see him play, because he's probably very hungry for some international rugby. Makazole Mapimpi, one of the most prolific try scorers in international rugby. I think it's 16 tries from 18 tests. Up against Andrew Callaway at number 14, and Kure Betty, who's also a prolific try scorer at number 11. Villiers Leroux, the second playmaker for the Springboks, such a dangerous player from the back, and he's an intricate part of the attacking for the Springboks. The Springboks, you might not see them as attacking a lot, but they do play from turnover ball a lot these days. They do capitalize on the opposition mistakes, and the Wallabies at the moment have a lot of those that they need to make less, because they make a lot of mistakes, and that's why they struggled against the All Blacks as well. Making those mistakes against the All Blacks will always make you lose the game. Tom Banks with his big boot at number 15. On the bench, there's a couple of changes as well, a couple of interesting ones. Malcolm Marx at number 16. Kai Tu'u at number 16 making his debut. He would probably have preferred to have a debut against a easier hooker, because Malcolm Marx is one of the best in the world and could have easily started this game. So it might be a tough task for him, but Kaitu'u, he has his days where he does struggle with throwing the ball in at line-out time. So let's see how he goes for the Wallabies. James Slipper and Tupou, powerful two props on the bench. I think Oxenchair and Koch would probably have preferred the younger combination there on the bench that they've had so far, the Wallabies, with Bell being on 17, but Slipper and Tupou being on the bench, that is a strong combination to try and get the upper hand over the second half front row of the Springboks. And Oxenchair, he's done a very good job. He plays complete different game than Steven Kitshoff, and then Koch from the Saracens has been brilliant. Marco van Staden, he's back from his injury as well. He's played a very brilliant game of rugby so far for the Springboks as well. Kwagga Smith and then Jasper Wiese as well. So it's 3 loose forward replacements, no second row replacements in that 6-2 split for the Springboks. So it looks strange, but it is because Mostert is on the park as well. They do have 3 locks in the starting team and 3 loose forwards on the bench. Rob Liotta, also a big game for him to make his debut. Pete Samu, I think there is more from him that we can see for the Wallabies, but that 3 loose forwards can really drown out a game for the Wallabies, because that means that 3 starting loose forwards is going to give it their all in that first 50-60 minutes, and then when that other 3 loose forwards come on, it's just going to continue from there, and those guys are very dangerous. Marco van Staden, Kwagga Smith, very good at breakdown time. Jasper Wiese, very strong carrier of the ball. He's kind of finding his feet at international level. Nick White is the scrum half replacement for the Wallabies, very experienced there, up against Herschel Yankees, also back from his injury. We know what happened the last time he played against the Wallabies. That was his debut and he scored a try against them. Reece Hodge playing his 50th game this week around. We'll see where he slots in to the team as well. He hasn't done much in the last year, I have to say. Jordan Patea, always a dangerous guy to bring onto the park as well. Damian Willemse is the Springboks' Reece Hodge when it comes to just slotting in all over the park. Here's hoping he goes in at number 12. I just want to see him play there a little bit more. But if there was any game that Willemse would have a good chance at number 10 or 15, it is probably against the Wallabies, because they do play an expansive game. They do like playing an attacking game. So I think Willemse, if there is a good game for him to try out, number 10 or 15, it is probably this game. Guys, that's enough rambling on about the two teams. They are playing in the Gold Coast. It is good conditions for rugby. I think not too hot. It is a little bit too windy though, so probably not too much kicking. Well, it is the Springboks. There might be a lot of kicking anyway. So guys, my prediction here, I think the Springboks are too powerful. We haven't seen these two play in a long time, but judging from the games they have played, I think the Springboks to win it by 16 points. Let me know your prediction down in the comments below. Also, check out these videos next to me. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more Rugby Championship videos, and then I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.